When you really want something good to happen, it can sometimes make you feel bad. But if you're okay with things not going perfectly, it can actually make you feel better. Let's say you have a big goal, like becoming a successful business owner. You work really hard to make it happen. But along the way, you might feel disappointed because you're not as successful as you hope to be. This disappointment can affect how happy and confident you feel. This idea is kind of like what Epicurus said about not always wanting more money, but being happy with what you already have. The backwards law suggests that the more you try really hard to achieve something, the more unhappy you might become. I wanted to take a minute to thank everyone who has subscribed, and encourage those who haven't to please consider subscribing to see the rise of Stoic empire. This seems to go against what we're usually taught, that if you work hard, you'll succeed and be happy. But sometimes pushing too hard can actually make things worse. So it's important to find a balance. It means knowing when to take a break and let things happen naturally. Alan Watts, an English writer and speaker, played a big role in bringing Eastern philosophies to the West. His ideas have helped connect these two different ways of thinking about life, and have made people think deeply about what really matters. Watts talks about something called the backwards law, which is a pretty interesting idea. It's like when you try really hard to hold on to something, but the more you try, the more it slips away. This concept actually comes from ancient teachings like the Tao Te Ching and Zen Buddhism, but Watts is known for popularizing it in the Western world. Zen Buddhism and Stoicism share some similarities in their philosophical frameworks and practices. For example, number 1, emphasis on inner peace. Both Zen Buddhism and Stoicism emphasize finding inner peace and tranquility, regardless of external circumstances. They teach the importance of cultivating a calm and equanimous mind. Number 2, acceptance of impermanence. Both philosophies recognize the impermanent nature of the world and advocate for acceptance of this reality. They teach the importance of embracing change and not becoming attached to fleeting things. Number 3, focus on the present moment. Both Zen Buddhism and Stoicism emphasize living in the present moment and letting go of worries about the past or future. They encourage mindfulness and awareness of one's thoughts and actions. Number 4, simplicity and detachment. Both philosophies advocate for simplicity and detachment from material possessions and external desires. They emphasize the importance of inner fulfillment over external wealth or status. Both philosophies offer valuable insights into living a more balanced and fulfilling life. Stay with me and learn more about the backwards law. Imagine trying to catch a slippery fish with your bare hands. The harder you squeeze, the more likely it is to wriggle out of your grasp. That's the backwards law in action. It suggests that when we stop trying so hard to control things, they often fall into place more easily. This law isn't just about catching fish, though. It applies to all aspects of our lives, especially when it comes to our goals and desires. Think about times when you've really pushed yourself to achieve something, only to feel like you're getting further away from it. That's the backwards law at work. Watts believes that we're often not clear about what we truly want, because we haven't taken the time to think deeply about it. We might chase after things like money, success, or approval from others, without considering whether they actually make us happy in the long run. So, instead of just going after what society tells us we should want, the backwards law encourages us to dig deeper. It challenges us to ask ourselves why we want certain things, and whether they align with our true values and desires. By doing this, we can uncover what truly brings us fulfillment and make choices that lead to a more meaningful life. In essence, The backwards law teaches us to let go of the need to control everything and instead focus our energy on what truly matters to us. It's about finding a balance between striving for our goals and allowing things to unfold naturally. And by embracing this principle, we can live more authentically and in alignment with our deepest desires. Let's break this into 4 parts. Firstly, constantly seeking happiness can backfire. Many people believe happiness is achieved by reaching specific goals. However, always chasing after it might actually make us less happy. Instead of constantly striving for happiness, sometimes just letting go and experiencing it without any agenda can bring more joy. It's like the difference between always chasing a butterfly and simply enjoying its beauty when it lands nearby. Secondly, anxiety often stems from our need to control everything around us. We try to manipulate our environment, emotions, and even other people to fit our desires, which can lead to increased stress and worry. By acknowledging that we can't control everything and letting go of the need to micromanage, we can actually reduce anxiety and find more peace of mind. It's like trying to hold on to a bunch of balloons. Once we let go, we feel lighter and freer. Thirdly, the pursuit of wealth can ironically leave us feeling impoverished. Continuously obsessing over being rich can make us feel like we never have enough, regardless of how much money we actually possess. True wealth isn't just about the numbers in our bank account. It's about feeling content and fulfilled in our lives. Like a treasure hidden within ourselves, true wealth is discovered when we appreciate what we have rather than constantly craving more. Finally, instead of chasing after love, we can create an environment where love naturally gravitates towards us. This starts with self-discovery and understanding our own needs and values. When we know ourselves better, we can attract the kind of love that aligns with who we are. It's like tending to a garden. When we nurture and understand ourselves, we create fertile ground for love to blossom. Arthur Schopenhauer, a philosopher, argued that our relentless pursuit of desires is irrational. He believed that humans, like all living beings, are driven by an innate will to live. This will pushes us to seek satisfaction through various means. But paradoxically, it also perpetuates our desires, leaving us in a perpetual cycle of wanting more. So, in essence, our pursuit of happiness, control, wealth, and love is driven by our instinctual urge to find fulfillment in life. Schopenhauer, a philosopher, had some deep thoughts about life. He believed that our inner drive, called the will, is a powerful force within us. But here's the twist. He thought this force was kind of irrational and aimless. It's like this never-ending hunger that we can never truly satisfy. According to Schopenhauer, this endless wanting is what causes us so much pain and suffering. No matter what we achieve or acquire, we're always left wanting more. He thought that this constant desire for more than we need comes from a feeling of scarcity, that there's never enough to go around. And because of this, we're always chasing after things, hoping they'll make us happy. But here's the kicker. Even when we get what we want, we're still not satisfied. Schopenhauer believed that every pleasure we experience is just an illusion. It might feel good for a moment, but it never lasts. That's because our desires are insatiable. They can never be fully satisfied. So, what's the solution? Schopenhauer thought the only way to break free from this cycle of suffering is to detach ourselves from our desires. He believed that true happiness comes from letting go of our relentless craving for more and learning to be content with what we have. He also talked about something called the backwards law. Essentially, it's the idea that sometimes when we try too hard to get something, we end up pushing it further away. He suggested using affirmations as a way to change our mindset and overcome this backward thinking. But he warned that affirmations only work if we truly believe in them. If we keep telling ourselves something that doesn't align with our beliefs, it won't make a difference. In essence, Schopenhauer's philosophy is a call to break free from the endless cycle of desire and find contentment in the present moment. It's about learning to let go of our attachment to material things and finding fulfillment in simpler pleasures. If you want to reach millionaire-level success, it's not just about chasing after money. You need to focus on the steps you take to get there. Instead of only thinking about the big pile of cash at the end, pay close attention to what you're doing along the way. For instance, let's say you're running a business and you want to attract more customers. Instead of just dreaming about having lots of clients, think about all the little things you can do to make that happen. Each action, like building a website, reaching out to potential customers, or responding to inquiries, is a step towards your goal. Why is this important? Because celebrating these small victories trains your brain to think positively about growth and success. It shifts your mindset from one of scarcity, where you always feel like there's not enough, to one of abundance, where you see opportunities everywhere. But here's the thing. Just wanting something really badly isn't enough. If you're constantly fixated on the end goal, you might overlook the importance of using your imagination to figure out how to get there. And if there's something missing in your life that you desperately want, it can be hard to believe that you can achieve it just by imagining it. That's where belief comes in. You need to truly believe that your goals are within reach. It's not just about wanting something. It's about having faith in yourself and your ability to make it happen. So to make the most of your efforts, you have to synchronize your desires with your imagination. You need to work hard, of course, but you also need to be able to visualize yourself achieving your goals. Because if you can't see it happening, it's going to be a lot harder to make it a reality. Our subconscious mind works continuously, whether we're awake or asleep. Imagine walking along a plank of wood placed on the ground. Most people can do this task easily because there's no risk involved. When we visualize ourselves walking on the plank, our imagination aligns with our desire, making the process effortless. This is because our subconscious mind, which shapes our beliefs and self-image, supports our actions. Now let's raise the plank of wood 20 feet in the air, between two walls. Suddenly, the task becomes more challenging due to the risk of falling. Our subconscious starts visualizing the potential consequences of failure, creating doubts and fears. This conflict between our conscious desire to succeed and the subconscious fear of failure can make the task difficult. Stoic teaching about staying present in the moment becomes relevant here. By focusing on the present and not dwelling on past failures or worrying about future outcomes, we can reduce the influence of anticipatory anxiety. This type of anxiety arises when we face unfamiliar or uncertain situations, leading to stress and worry about the future. Managing anticipatory anxiety can be challenging, but acknowledging its presence and practicing mindfulness techniques can help us stay grounded and focused on the task at hand. When you're anxious, it can show up in your body in different ways, like sweating, trembling, or feeling your heart race faster. It can also fill your mind with worries, doubts, or feelings of insecurity, making the anxiety even stronger. Dealing with this kind of anxiety can feel overwhelming, because it's not something you can always control with your thoughts alone. However, there are methods that can help you manage this anticipatory anxiety. One approach is mindfulness, where you focus on the present moment rather than worrying about the future. Another helpful method is cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which involves talking to someone who can help you understand and change negative thought patterns. Relaxation techniques, such as deep breathing or progressive muscle relaxation, can also be effective in calming your body and mind. To better cope with anxiety, it's important to shift how you perceive challenges. Instead of seeing them as threats, try viewing them as opportunities for growth and learning. This change in mindset can create a more conducive environment for your subconscious mind to guide your actions. With practice, you can train yourself to make decisions more instinctively, without overthinking. This process is similar to learning to drive. At first, it may feel difficult and nerve-wracking, but as you gain experience, it becomes more natural. Eventually, you reach a point where you can drive almost automatically, allowing you to focus on other things while still driving safely. Similarly, entering a flow state means performing tasks effortlessly, as if your body is operating on autopilot. This state of flow can be achieved when your actions align with your skills and interests, leading to a sense of deep concentration and satisfaction. Just like how musicians feel deeply connected to their music when they play an instrument, or how dancers seem to become one with their dance moves, there's a similar experience for people who excel in various fields. These individuals, like painters, chess players, and professional climbers, spend a significant amount of time practicing both mentally and physically. They reach a state where they are fully immersed in what they're doing, almost as if they and their activity have merged into one. This state is often referred to as the flow state. However, getting into this flow state can be disrupted when we try too hard. When we overthink things, it creates mental obstacles that hinder our ability to perform at our best. We may start doubting ourselves or become overly critical of our actions. Essentially, being too much in our own heads can disrupt the natural, instinctive process that enables us to perform effortlessly. To truly enter the flow state, we need to let go of excessive conscious control. This means allowing our actions to be guided more by instinct and intuition, rather than by deliberate, conscious effort. In this state, our actions flow smoothly without being interrupted by intrusive thoughts or self-doubt. Seneca's wisdom about true happiness emphasizes the importance of living in the present moment without anxiously worrying about the future. Trying too hard to hold on to something can lead to disappointment, because things are bound to change. By learning to let go and relinquish our need for control, we can focus more on enjoying the present and making the most of the opportunities right in front of us. When we embrace the present moment fully, we become more mindful of our thoughts, actions, and surroundings. This heightened awareness enables us to better understand ourselves, our strengths, weaknesses, and areas for improvement. With this self-awareness, we can set meaningful goals and work towards achieving them in alignment with our vision for the future. By staying present, intentional, and focused in our daily lives, we can create a fulfilling and purposeful existence for ourselves, one step at a time. We can cultivate deeper connections with loved ones, feel more rested and centered, and make choices that align with our values and aspirations. In essence, living in the present moment allows us to lead richer, more meaningful lives. By applying these strategies, we aim to enrich our souls and foster positive progress in our daily lives. I stand firmly by your side, not only as a guide, but also as a companion on the journey of self-development through Stoic philosophy. Remember, every significant change begins with small steps, and I am always here to offer support and encouragement. Continue striving to be the best version of yourself, and remember that true peace and value originate from within. If this conversation has sparked a desire for more exploration, more understanding, and more growth, I invite you to continue the journey. On your screen, you'll see a playlist that will take you further into the world of Stoicism, its principles, and how they can be applied to everyday life. So go ahead, click on it, and let's continue our journey and grow together. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, stay stoic, my friends. Watch the next video, and I'll see you there.